What is up, guys? Today, I'm going to be telling y'all how I formulated my college essay. That got me into UVA, UMICH, Vassar, Colgate, Colorado College, and many more. But before that, make sure you subscribe, drop a like, and turn on post notifications to stay tuned for more content like this one. And if you want to see the 40 plus colleges that I applied to and the decisions with that, go ahead and click the link in the comments or the description or a notification that should pop up right now. Alrighty. So today I'll be going over not just my essay, how I formulated it. I have a specific document that I will link in the description too that helped me to do it. I'm going to say who helped me to do it. I'm going to see all that, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, let's go ahead and begin first with me. Actually, you need to understand how I formulated my essay before I even read. Actually, no. Maybe you're here just to like read it or hear me read it. So let me start with that. With my last sliver of energy, I lunge at my opponent. The sweat gushing from my forehead stings my eyes. Nevertheless, I continue staring at my large target. The once shouting crowd is muffled. My teammates screaming at me to do something is silenced. The headbeam light that was covering the entire mat now just shines on me and my opponent. My legs feel like they're on fire. My arms feel like bricks. My heartbeat reverberates through my whole body, and my mouth tastes metallic. The big scoreboard timer does not matter to me anymore as the seconds appear in my head. 5, 4, 3. Since 10th grade, wrestling has been my passion, although it wasn't always that way. The first week of tryouts, I kept messing up the moves, always asking the coach to demonstrate again. Nevertheless, on the last day of tryouts, I started remembering the moves more easily and ran a little faster. Attending every practice became crucial to me. When practices continued over winter break, however, I had to stop going because my parents began working overtime and I needed to stay home to take care of my sister who has special needs. Understanding that my parents' hardship was to continue to support us and that I would not have been able to join wrestling without my parents' support, I strived to find ways to keep up my wrestling skills at home, and I began to teach my mom and sister how to wrestle. In the beginning, they asked me repeatedly to display the same move. Underclassmen would Underclassmen would constantly beg me for a demonstration until I eventually just sent them a YouTube video instead. Even so, for my family, I learned to be more patient and broke up the move into simpler parts to practice. It was funny seeing my mom and sister wobble like jello trying to maintain balance for the move. Surprisingly, when demonstrating the move slowly, I noticed subtle flaws in my movement that I hadn't realized before. As time went on and I kept going to practice, I improved. Even though I had failed many moves and lost some matches, I kept wrestling knowing I would eventually win a real match. Then I began to apply this mentality to other aspects of my life. Whenever I was stuck on a calculus problem or overwhelmed by nervousness, I would break the problem down into smaller parts to see how they would all fit together. My coach taught me that this nervousness was the pressure that comes with the possibility of winning or losing, and that the pressure either makes a person crumble or turns them into diamonds. It was then that I started to think of my nervousness, or better yet, pressure, as a boost, not a crutch. From then on, every time I would feel this pressure, for instance, tackling the SAT, which I knew was the one free test I could take since my parents couldn't afford a second one, I would think faster, think harder, and push my limits. Why I'm most grateful for is the strong discipline and motivation I've developed in my time as a wrestler, qualities I will take with me to college. As I prepare to leave high school, I know that the determination I've learned on the mat will guide me through all of life's matches. This includes my journey to become a lawyer, where the same determination and strategic thinking are essential. Since July, I've been committed to. So this was, sorry to interrupt, but some context. This was the previous summer. I wrote this in like October. The previous summer, I was on my training arc. I was waking up every morning at like 6 a.m., going to the gym until 9, coming back streaming, going back to the gym with my friends and locking it, bro. I was so locked in for the whole month of August, bro. And towards the end of July. So wake up at 5 a.m., pray, go to the gym, shower, go to the school, go back to gym, go home, do my homework, and go sleep. I know. Okay, this is where my teacher cooked. She told me this line. I now know I'm disciplined, but I also know I am not alone in my discipline. Every morning, my mom wakes up earlier than I do to pray, cook, clean, and get ready for work. And every morning, I'm inspired by my mom's discipline. 2, 1. My opponent body goes limp and the referee pulls my hand up. I smile at my victory, a victory not only for the match, but also for what I've learned. The answer to what happens if I keep trying, even in the face of hardship. Yo, oh my lord, I was cooking. This is probably, if you were to tell me, yo, Helios, what is one of your best pieces of writing you've ever written, I would tell you this is one of them. These are the at least top 5, low key. But yeah, now I'm gonna go into the specific structure that you can follow as well. Now, there's this whole document, right? There's this whole document where the teacher gave me where you can, answer questions, and if I'm not gonna lie, if you do all the things it says here, you read through it, you answer the questions, low key, you're gonna be able to make a pretty gosh darn tootin' essay. I don't know why I just said that. You're gonna make a really good essay. But I'm not gonna lie, I kind of skipped it because I already know like show not tell. Show not tell is the most important part. Right? If you're gonna skip all that and go to this is the part, this is the actual like assignment right here. Right here. If you're gonna do that, remember, show not tell. Show not tell. Show not tell. Do not tell. For example, I am smart. No, don't tell them. Show them how you're smart. Say, I worked hard to improve my SAT score to be better than the average. Boom, that's showing rather than telling. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to show. Like, you can't just say, like, you can't just go up to someone and say, yeah, I'm strong. Okay. I mean, rather than that, you can be like, okay, you can, actively go to the gym, maybe post on the Insta or whatever. And then that kind of shows you're strong rather than just telling. You know what I'm saying? So plus it can seem like kind of egotistical if you're just like, yeah, I'm strong, or just imagine your essay saying, I'm the smartest person in my entire school. No, you don't say that. You show it. Say, I was a valid Victorian. I was in many leadership positions. You know what I'm saying? Like that. But yeah, that's the first thing that y'all should know. If you're gonna take anything from this, show, not tell. Now, like this says, there are many different ways you can write your essay. I just, the one thing I'm gonna say is follow a guide, and do not repeat information in your Common App. They see the information, there's no use in repeating it. I know a friend, I think I saw his essay, and he helps me by seeing it. Hey, W bro. But I'm not gonna lie, I saw him in the end of his Common App essay. He repeated some of the stuff he said in his activity section. Like, okay, that's cool, but at the very least, instead of just repeating, you should like expand on it more. You know what I'm saying? But even then, like, he still got into a really difficult college to get into. So I mean, I don't know. But either way, here's the structure. So, introduction. This paragraph is your central anecdote or story, condensed to one significant moment that you can capture in vivid description. The moment, experience, memory, realization, problem, obstacle, issue, challenge, failure will become the touchstone or focal point of your essay. The purpose of this paragraph is to hook your reader and grab your reader's attention, engage their interest, and make them want to keep reading. This paragraph should provide details that appeal to the 5 senses: sight, sound, touch, taste, smell. Consider writing in present tense as another way to draw the reader in. Show, don't tell. Details should be chosen strategically. So going to the 5 senses, like just going to my essay, you can see like the first paragraph. Look, it says my arms feel like bricks. Touch. My heartbeat reverberates. That's touch again. My legs feel like on fire. Touch again. The crowd is muffled, meaning that's sight. That's hearing, sound. Screaming at me, that's sound. Head beam light, that's sight. Taste is the metallic. Try to do all 5 senses. Think of a vivid moment. Okay, I was helping my friend too um do this, and he ended up choosing like one, I think his first concert performance. But choose a vivid moment that you can talk about in detail, something that you can connect to different parts of your life. It's okay if it's not unique, right? But it should be something that not happens to everyone. It can't just happen to everyone. But more importantly, it should be able to connect to parts of you that are unique, like how I connected it to, my family and stuff like that. But either way, the first paragraph should be very vivid. Paragraph 2, so it's the reflection. So it's the context to the first paragraph. Yeah, so the context. So for example, for me, right, I talked about first joining wrestling and, doing better and blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? And how I continued, had the troubles I had with wrestling and how I overcame it, but yeah. And then reflection part 2, second part of reflection, extend your thinking, and how this moment applies to different aspects of your life. This is where I talked about, academic, like my SAT, you know, I talk about SAT, and working calculus. Calculus and SAT is what I applied this to. So specifically my academic part of my life. You can do that as well, like apply it to like something academic or maybe like something else, like maybe just general like interacting with people, right? Say you have a hard time with that. Maybe I didn't really have a hard time with that, but maybe I could have said something different, like, wrestling, it allowed me to be more outgoing because if I'm able to keep wrestling and actually like fighting another human being for an extended period of time, I'm sure I can like, be outgoing and, talk to people and stuff like that. Although low key, I just talk to random people. I don't really care. But yeah. And then conclusion. So this paragraph is the takeaway point. So this is where like the theme will come back. You know what I'm saying? Um, so wrap up by showing how the moment is reflected upon you forward in life. So if we were to put this is like the start. This is like, okay, you have a scene in your head, right? And this scene isn't for more than a couple seconds. This is the beginning. This is the context. This is how it applies to other aspects of your life. And this is how it does, like, the present. This is more of like the present slash future. See how I talked about law school and stuff. And then in the same paragraph, you're going to connect it back and continue the story, ending it off. Because see, you have a hook here. 5, 4, 3. And then the reader is like, oh, 3. Okay, I gotta wait until it continues. So I said 2, 1. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's how I structure my essay. Again, this will be linked in the description. Although I might have to edit the document because I think it shows her name. I mean, and I think it shows her email. I don't want to leak her email. But yeah. Anyways, I appreciate you guys for watching. Again, make sure, right? One key takeaway: show, not tell. I did this essay. Let me tell y'all, I did this essay probably within a month. Within a month. So make sure, don't do this last minute. Make sure, I've had this idea since junior year. I've had it planned out. If I didn't have an idea, low key, this would have taken a lot. Taken. This would have taken longer. All right. So make sure you have an idea at the very least by the end of your junior year. Make sure you have a time frame for when you do it. The earlier start, the better. Low key. Although I wouldn't say maybe like don't take like no 6 months like some people on essays. Like you can't like at that point, and just make sure don't be shy. Ask your teacher, your AP Lit teacher. If you're not an AP Lit, still ask AP Lit. Ask your friends if their teacher's helping them with the essay. I'm sure they'd help. I'm sure of it. Don't be that. If I was nervous, oh my lord, I would have been cooked. Are you serious? My teacher literally helped me cook on this. And if you think it's too personal, they don't care, really. I mean, unless you're not saying something like absolutely wild in that essay. I mean, I thought I was like, oh, it's too personal. I don't want to share it with blah, blah. But does it matter? You're not gonna see her again after this year, or you're not gonna see whoever your teacher is. So low key, even if you're a shy person, just take a moment of strength. Think about, oh my God, I could go to this college. Okay, I just need to have the courage to ask for help. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. Either way, also, you peep the shirt. Y'all like the shirt, you know what I'm saying? Colorado College shirt, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, hold on. Hold on. Hold on, y'all ain't peeping. Y'all ain't peeping this shirt, bro. This is mad cool. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But yeah, anyways, that's about it. Hey, I hope y'all enjoy. I'm going to see y'all later. Peace out.